perspectives and forming your own opinion can help you understand yourself better, communicate with each other better, and ultimately shape the future for yourself and others and the community. So, I'm going to make these statements called spectrum statements, and I'll let you know when I'm reading them. But after I read each one, I want you to move around according to strongly agree, agree, can go either or, disagree, or strongly disagree. Now we're going to start with something relatively simple. Early immigrants to the United States, they didn't actually teach their children their native language. This is prompt one. Because they wanted them to fit in and become more American. As a result, there's actually a very large group of older Asian Americans who have no idea how to speak the native tongue. However, globalization, things are now changing up, and now we're encouraging people to be bilingual, to learn other languages. So, the spectrum statement is, it is important to know how to speak your native language. Strongly agree, agree, don't care either way, disagree, or strongly disagree. Please, get up and move.
Let's say you must move.
Are you all in relative position? Still moving?
Oh. Okay, so
We're supposed to line up in one line this way.
Well, you can also
Not
kind of
like in
bunch.
bar graph.
Strongly agrees on this side, strongly disagrees on this side.
Okay. I'm just gonna be in the middle.
So is there anyone on the strongly disagree? Anyone on the disagree, or are you just trying to get over on
I'm
this
trying
side?
to go over.
All right. So strongly agree. Why are you on this side? Someone let me know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Can you speak up a little bit?
It is important to maintain your own identity.
And you think language is a part of that?
Language is definitely part of it.
Now, how about people towards the, you can go either way. Why are you not on strongly agree?
Well, like my father, he thought that being able to speak the dominant language in a society is very important for a young adult to get ahead. So I was educated in an English medium in Malaysia, even though my parents were Chinese. But as an adult, I realized that I miss out on my own cultural heritage by not being able to speak my mother tongue well, or to read and write the language. I'm unable, therefore, to participate in the enjoyment of the literature, which is very prolific, in Chinese literature. So that's my undergrad. And at the advanced age of 60, it's going to be really hard to pick up classic Chinese and literature.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. Does anyone else like to add to that? So this is kind of an example of an easy question. Now these get progressively, I would say, more controversial as we go on, so I'm going to skip it. Prompt 3. Professor Twelve states that critical parents actually help their children succeed in the long term. She believes that no one ever improved by being told they were doing a good job when they really weren't. Professor Twelve believes that we are actually hurting our children by giving everyone a trophy, even if they haven't achieved anything. So here's the spectrum statement. Not everyone can be number one. Strongly agree to strongly disagree. Go ahead and start with it.
I don't know how to defend myself.
Not everyone can be number one. So it looks like everyone here is largely on what? The either way to agree. Is there anyone here who strongly disagree? How about disagree?
Disagree.
Well, let me ask you, why do you think that?
First, I don't know, that was like the first thing I thought of. I just disagreed naturally with the statement, but I think it's because from what I've seen, anyone who tries their best or does something, they can be number one. It doesn't really pertain to I don't know how to say it. I'm going back to the slide.
That's fine. It's again, and for facilitators, right? There's no right or wrong opinion. These questions actually will shift sides and are meant to kind of challenge your own opinion later on. So don't, if there's one lone person, give them the opportunity to speak and don't criticize them. You want to encourage. The point of this conversation is that there's a huge spectrum of thought. And not necessarily one is correct, but we can use our different ideas to make our future better. But with that being said, it seems like the majority of people are towards, either way. Who's at either way? Raise your hand. What are you in the middle?
Because people can be number one at something, but everyone is number one at other things. So there's more than one person who can be number one because they're in different places, but also it's in a different mindset.
Okay. Now, who's here on the strongly agree? All right, now, I don't think any of you have spoken before. Who wants to volunteer?
I'll do it.
Please.
So I feel like not everyone can be number one. Now, I'm not saying that only one person can be number one. There can be like multiple people who are the best at everything. But everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. And if we always feel like all we have is strengths, then we'll have nothing to improve upon. But if you do know what your strengths are, and you do know what your weaknesses are, what you're not number one at, then it can help you improve for the future.
Now, a way to view it is, other than are there just number ones, the question is, are there losers? No. Why do you say that?
No one's a loser. That's all.
And that is a fantastic perspective that just came through, which is we're talking about number one, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're losers. And so that's what these discussion questions are. If the group gets more quiet, you start asking these discussion questions. Why do you think that? If everyone can't be number one, how do you build self-esteem of the losers? Are there even losers? And things like that. So I'm going to move to another question, just to give you more of a flavor. Let's see. There is a stereotype, prompt form, that Asian parents pressured, and by the way, the participants won't have this. So they don't kind of see the questions that are coming. You guys kind of have a cheat sheet to follow along, but the day of the conference, they probably won't have access to this. So prompt form, there is a stereotype that Asian parents pressure their children to become doctors, lawyers, engineers, or businessmen and women. The grain of truth behind this stereotype is that most Asian parents want their children to have a well-paying job so they are financially secure. So the spectrum statement is, it is better to be financially successful and in a job you don't love than be really poor doing something you do love. Strongly agree or strongly disagree? It is better to be financially successful and in a job you don't love than really poor and doing something you love. All right, since we have a spectrum here, now this is where you can change things up, because up to this point, I was asking one opinion, another opinion, another opinion. But depending on how large a group is, and this is a relatively large group, what we're going to do is, so everyone who strongly disagrees, why don't you reconvene together, talk amongst yourself, and tell me what are the 3 points of why you strongly disagree. For those that disagree, do the same thing. Those who don't care either way, let me know why. Those who agree, get together, say the same thing, and if there's anyone who strongly agrees, do the same. So I'll give you 2-3 minutes.